Okay,
thank you.
How have you been? All right, Catherine. Oh, we've lost Catherine. It's okay. So, guys, we are going to start because our time is, much spent. So, we're just going to have a short talk. It's a conversation. So, all of us will have a time maybe to just share the experience in what we are talking about, because it's not something new. Okay, it's not something new. So all of us have in one way or another passed through it. This is a training mostly for parents or parents to be, or maybe those people who are dealing with children in one way or another. So all of us are actually involved in one way or another with kids, and these are things that are not new to us. So we can, we're just going to begin by maybe having a short conversation. Maybe tell us about yourself. Tell us your experience around your sexuality. How did you learn, especially about sex? Where did you learn it from? Who maybe, who guided you through it? What was the role of your parents in it? Okay, I don't know who can give us maybe their short experience. How has it been for you? Benson, you're still young and coming up. I know you're soon becoming a parent. So how was the experience for you? At least you're young, you can relate to this. Unmute yourself, unmute yourself. Benson, unmute yourself. Great, great.
Now you can hear me.
Yes.
So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, good evening.
I believe everyone can hear me. And,
yeah, we can hear you.
I think as I grow up, as I prepare myself to get to another level of being a father or a parent, in this, let me call it a kind of sexuality, I think mostly I've learned it when I was in primary, in those books, when we begin this chapter of reproduction. And as time went by, you come to find that you learn a lot through studies and many things.
Yeah.
And that's how I have learned about things about sex. About my parents, you find that nowadays, it's like parents have just left their kids to do things on their own, because I've never seen it one time. My parents coming to me, sitting with me, and they're telling me this is how these things are happening. Yeah. I've just,
so you didn't experience that?
I have never experienced such kind of training through my parents. Yeah.
Wow. Great. So how would you like it for your children? Would you like them also to learn by themselves the way you learned?
You know, learning by yourself is something which I found that as a Christian, it can make you get into many things which can take you out of the glory of God. And as for my children, because I've learned, I would like them to learn through me, teaching them these how things are done, and this is what you should do, and this is what you should not do.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing with us. Anyone else would like to share with us? Anyone else would like to share with us? Eva. Hello.
Yes.
How are you, my dear?
I'm well.
Would you like to share with us your experience? How was it? How did you learn about your sexuality? let's call it, let's just say, how did you learn about sex? And that was the experience.
Well, I think my parents were very old school, so it was not something that was to be discussed, you know. So I learned in school, and I think just sharing with different people, you know. But mostly about my sexuality, I just learned through the usual subjects of biology and all. Up through, I think, to high school. Even then, we never sat. I come from a very big family.
Okay.
So it was not a topic of discussion.
You don't discuss that.
No, it wasn't necessarily a topic of discussion, because it wasn't something that we were expected to do. So I think I learned through society. Let me say that, school and society, the hard way, that way.
With us.
Hey, everybody, I think we just lost Sarah. So we'll give her a minute. Oh, there she is. Are you still there? I'm Amy. I'm Sarah's mentor and teacher and tech support. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, you're back. Where'd you go? Hang on, Sarah. Can you unmute yourself? Where are we now? Sorry, y'all. It's just going to be that kind of a day.
Great. I'm back. I think it's my network. Sorry about that. And thank you very much for joining. Uncle Chaka, welcome. So we are talking about initiating a conversation, and we are giving our experiences. How did you learn about it? How did it go as you are growing up? And would you like your child to learn it the same way you learned it? So Eva was sharing with us her story. Eva.
Yes.
So would you like your child to learn the same way you learned about your sexuality?
No, definitely not, because I think we're living in a different world now, where I personally feel we really need to be engaged with our children. Yeah, so I don't think I would like them to learn the way I did.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And have you ever felt uncomfortable to begin a topic with them?
I haven't felt uncomfortable. Maybe I have felt nervous in how to begin it, because I'm very close to my children.
Okay.
So I don't think I've been nervous. I've just been, I just haven't known how to start the conversation.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's the reason why we are here today. Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay.
Anybody else can share with us their experience? Anyone who wants to share with us, you can just unmute yourself. Welcome, Kellan. Welcome, Catherine. And CLC, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. CJ. Hi, CJ. Hello, hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Would you like maybe to share with us your experience? How was it? How did you learn about your sexuality? Where did you learn it from?
Can't even remember.
You just found yourself knowing things.
I found myself knowing things.
And how was that experience to you?
Okay, I'm not even sure. Guy, you know, there were some things just happen and then you just find yourself in a situation you're not even thinking. I can't remember, to be honest. I can't remember the experience. The only thing I know is that I wouldn't want my child to even, I don't even want to think about it. It scares me.
You'd really want to be touch the bases with them, eh?
Because me personally, I can't pinpoint a particular incident where I can really remember what happened or how I came to know about it. But I think the company maybe that I was keeping, not even sure what happened.
Maybe from your friends.
Yeah, maybe from friends. Something like that. Or from movies and reading books and stuff.
Anyway, thank you so much for sharing with us. You can mute yourself.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone else who is joining us. I don't know if there's anyone else who would like to share with us the experience about their sexuality. Where did you learn it from? How did you experience it? Rose?
Yes.
You have unmuted yourself. Maybe you can share with us your experience. Where did you learn about your sexuality? Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
It's a pleasure for me to be here this evening.
You're welcome.
I thank God up to this far.
You're welcome.
For me, I can't even remember where I learned it because I don't think if I learned it anywhere, because even in
you just found yourself.
I was such an introvert. I can't say I learned it from friends because I never had friends. And even in school, in our days, teachers were never going that deep about in biology. So I can't say I learned it in school also. I don't even remember at which point. I just found myself because I was brought up with that absentee mom, and the time she's there, she can't tell you, you guys sit down, you talk about this. I think I just found myself in the long run. No, I was not close with anyone. Yeah?
How would you like it for your kids, maybe? Would you like them to learn also the same way you learned?
No, it was a tough experience. I would like them to be exposed at least, to know when they reach that stage, to know what to do and how to handle this and when to say yes, when to say no. Not like me, you just go there blindly, like you don't know what to expect or not to do, when to say yes, when to say no. No. I would like them at least to have a hint, to have a knowledge of when and how and which way to go. When it reaches this point, you should do this and that. I would like them to be exposed. And I thank God Almighty that today we have people like you who can train them in this journey.
Actually, we want to train you as a parent to do it. We don't want other people to train your child, because
exactly.
we want to give your child the values that you uphold yourself. So do you find it uncomfortable to talk to your kids about it?
I can say not really, because the little time I get with them, we do share a lot, even though now they're still young, but yes, we do share. We do talk. We are friends. The little time I find with them, we share. But knowing that they're still young, you can't open up everything to them. But at least you give them a hint. And they're like, hey,
Okay.
does this exist? They're still young.
Okay, great. Mwalimu Chaka, welcome very much. Kellan, welcome. You can share with us your experience. How did you learn about your sexuality? Who taught you about it? What was your experience about it? Kellan, can you hear me? Hey, Kellan. You can unmute yourself. Hi, Nelly.
Hi, Sarah.
Can you share with us your experience? How was it?
I think first of all, it was taboo. So it was a no conversation today. Yeah. And I think for me, I just learned from my peers in high school, you get to hear we are reading Mills and Boons, those romantic novels. So those peers started from there. Yeah. So there was nothing formal.
So how was the experience? Did you learn the best things or the worst things?
Of course, now when I look back, I didn't learn the right things.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And definitely you wouldn't want your child to go the same way.
Oh, no, certainly not. No.
Great. I believe all of us as our parents, thank you very much, Nelly, for sharing. I believe all of us as our parents, we have that feeling of, we want our children to get the best, to just get the best. Personally, I think I learned things. I really loved reading. So I learned so much from books. But the books that I learned from were not the right books, okay? Because I used to just read anything I come across. So I learned from either books or what I had from friends, okay? And it wasn't the right thing. It wasn't the right thing. So at the end of the day, I ended up making decisions that were not really good decisions. What I can say is that as much as the church played a bigger role in my life, the church never dealt so much with the person. Okay, they never dealt so much with us as a person, with me as a person, but they just generalized things. And in that generalizing things, I didn't get details. So much of the things I learned, thank God to internet right now, I am still learning a lot of things about myself. But much of the things I learned from books, I learned from sources that have no values, I learned from people who have no values, who have no me at heart, and it wasn't a good experience. So today we are just going to talk about initiating this conversation. How would you go about it? What if your child does not ask? Let's talk about something like masturbation. Talk about something like wet dreams. Talk about something like, which other hard topic? Contraceptives, My internet is kind of unstable, but I hope you can still hear me. So such things made, they can make you feel uncomfortable. How do you begin talking to your child about contraceptives? And probably they're at the age where you think they need to know about it. And most of these things they will not ask, you see. Or sometimes they'll be introduced into them in a wrong way. Okay, I do a lot of teens counseling and teens mentorship, And I've realized that most of teenagers are using contraceptives, and most of them, they've just learned it from their friends, and they don't know the effects. They don't know, you know, how the whole thing works. They're just using because their friends introduced them to. And it is something that is already there. So how do you talk to your child before they get exposed into them in the wrong way? How do you begin this kind of conversation? So today I just want us to have that openness, you know, like, how do you begin these talks? Where do you begin? Whom do you at what point do you think you're supposed to begin these talks? So today we're just talking about initiating conversation, and this is for either boys or girls, and at the same time it is something that either one of the parents can do it, either the mom or the dad. So it is open. It is that open for either moms or dads doing it. And we really appreciate the dads who are trying to get into the whole thing, because by default, this is something that has been left to the moms, especially to us in Africa or in Kenya. We have this mentality that, you know, a bad kid, when a girl gets pregnant in the family, it's the mother's fault. The mother didn't guide the child, you see, and yet it is a responsibility of both the parents, the father and the mother, to guide their children to make the right decisions. So how do you even initiate such topics? Okay, how do you even initiate? Because sometimes when they start dating, they won't tell you. In our African culture, it's not so easy for me to go with my mom, to take my boyfriend to my mom. Even the thought of me having a boyfriend is something that I cannot even begin. But you see, this is something that they are doing, you see, and when we don't initiate this conversation with them, they also grow up knowing that these are personal things. They cannot be talked about. And when you don't talk about them, when we don't talk to them about them, they keep it to themselves. The next thing you're knowing is that your girl is pregnant, or your son has made somebody pregnant. And the next thing you're also learning is that at that time is when you're even learning who the person is. Either you're learning from neighbors, either you're learning from their friends, either you're learning from, you're just learning from weird sources. But we want to get to a point whereby we want to help our children so that they can be able to be free with us. They can be able to talk to us, because that is what actually happens when it comes to when you start talking to your child about their sexuality. They begin trusting you, they become open to you, they are more, and you're also helping them to make the right decisions. You're giving them your values. Remember last time we talked about values, and we said that values are actually things that they are just catch from the family point of view. You cannot teach somebody values, especially your children. They just catch, they copy from what they are learning in the family. What are you doing? You cannot be a husband who batters their wife, or you cannot be a wife who is abusive to their husband, and you expect your child to turn out to be a good husband or a good wife. These values have to be learned in the family. So when you're talking to your child regarding their sexuality, at some point you have to initiate these talks. So I want us to maybe breathe in and breathe out, as we begin. And maybe you can grab a cup of water, a cup of tea, relax, and let's just enjoy this topic today. So if you have any question, you can type it. If you have any question, you can type it on the chat area. I'll just be able to see it, and we're going to answer them. So in the meantime, I want to tell you that it is important, point number one, for you to start early. If you have younger kids, start these conversations earlier with them. You see, when they are turning 3 years, 2 years, when they're coming to learn about themselves, they're starting to know that, especially nowadays, our children, they know very early that I am a girl or I am a boy. Start with them as early as possible to talk to them about their sexuality. In that, this helps them also, it protects them, okay? You are able to tell them that, you see, these are your private parts, and these places nobody should touch, nobody should see, because they are your private parts. And you continue this conversation not day by day, but at least gradually, slowly by slowly. your child to understand their space. It is also important to help them also know there are safe people around, okay? Who are the safe circle? What if this and this happens to you? How are you supposed to handle it? Who are these people you're supposed to tell? You come and tell me as your mom or your dad when this person does this to you. It is very important for you as a parent to begin that conversation when your child is young. You see, I read a story today online, and a 3-year-old kid was molested by a neighbor, and the mother reported the whole thing to the police station, and up to now, several months down the line, there's nothing that has happened, and the man is free. Of course, the man is still free, but again, there are also stories that we hear, especially in our local news. A child has been molested, either father, or maybe somebody, a neighbor, maybe just a stranger, and it is several times. As in several times, not even once, several times. How does it even get to that level? And for me, I believe because this child is not informed. You see, they are not informed. They don't even know this person is violating their rights. So this molestation goes on and on and on. Okay, and you realize that this comes from out of ignorance, because the child has been told already to keep quiet. So when to keep quiet by this the person who is doing this evil to them, they just shut up because they don't know any other place they can go and talk about these things. And I believe that it is important for you as a parent to begin this conversation early. Let your child know their safe circle. The other day, there's a neighbor who asked my daughter for our Wi-Fi password. And my daughter said that I don't know the password. And the neighbor told her that but don't tell your parents. Don't tell your parents that I ask you that. But you see, in my family, we have already set up a standard whereby there is nothing to hide from your parents. And we tell our children that if anybody tells you anything, whether good or bad, and they tell you not to tell us, then just know that person is evil. So our daughter, the first thing, she came in the house and told us what happened, and she told us that she told me not to tell you. Remember, because these are things that are happening even in our neighborhood. What if it could be someone who wants to molest her or someone who wants to do something wrong to her, and we've never opened up conversations with them? They won't tell. They won't tell. They'll just keep quiet, and maybe this thing goes on and on. So today I want us to learn as parents that it is important to start early. Let your child know their safe circle. Let your child know their rights. An informed child is actually an empowered child. So whenever this molestation begins or anything like that comes to them, even at a young age of 3 years, they'll be able to tell you. They won't keep quiet because you've already opened that conversation with them. So that's point number one. Point number two is that develop your conversation. Let it not be a one-time thing, okay? I don't want to do it as a lecture, but I think you'll just give me some moments and then I just pour out my points, and then maybe we can have a question and answer session so that it doesn't look like a lecture. Yeah. So what happens is that develop the conversation slowly by slowly. By that, I mean that you need to also know the age of your child and what are they supposed to know at what age. That is a topic for another day, but it is also important for you to also understand what you're pouring to your child at what age, and also use the language they understand. Okay, use the language they understand, a very simple language. Don't bring the biological languages to maybe a 15-year-old kid. You would use a lot of biology language. Use just a simple language that they can understand. We have a topic that I will also deal with this maybe sometime to come. What by when? What at what age is your child supposed to know what? But this is one thing I want you to take home with, that it doesn't matter how much you pour. Okay, it is better you pour too much than you pour very little. So you'd rather give them too much information than giving them very little information. Yes. So no, go step by step. Begin slowly by slowly, but also don't allow your child to get to 18 years. And that is when you're realizing, oh, I didn't talk about dating. And you see, already when they get into puberty, their feelings are starting to develop. So they're getting attracted to their, to their opposite sex. And you've never even talked to them about that. So it is important for you to go step by step also, but also it is also important that you realize the stage where they are, and even if they don't ask, initiate that talk. So how do you go about initiating the talk? This is one formula that I use, that it is important for you to have the facts and you have your values. Okay, if you want to initiate the talk, have facts and have values. So how do you go about that? Know the facts of the topic you want to talk to them about. If they ask you about masturbation, or if you feel like you need now to talk to them about masturbation, know the facts, because even as they're being exposed outside there, they're being given, they're also learning from wherever sources. Okay, so when they realize that you lied to them, okay, you lied to them about whatever you're talking to them about, they will never trust you. So give them the facts, give them the true fact. This is masturbation, this is what it is, and then now give them your values. Tell them this is masturbation, okay, but my values around this masturbation, what I believe is that masturbation is either good or it is bad. So let them know the values that you have around that topic, okay? Give them the facts and give them your values, so that when they go outside there, they know you have told them the truth.
Hopefully she'll be back. And I'm sorry for those of you that didn't get admitted sooner. Everything froze and I just had to wait. So let's give her a minute. She may have to log back in. So sit tight. And if you have questions, just think them up, because she clearly has all the answers. And for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Amy and I am Sarah's mentor. So hopefully she'll be able to get back on. She was having trouble with her internet earlier, which slowed us down a little bit. So let's just sit tight for a few minutes. And if she can't get back on, she'll WhatsApp me and let me know. We'll maybe need to pick this up again. Anyway, she's doing great. Super proud of her. All right, hang tight.
Maybe somebody can just share the experience as we wait for Sarah.
Brilliant. Thank you. Go for it. You can just unmute yourself and share what you remember. And one thing that's always fun to talk about is anything crazy that you learned, like from your peers or your friends. Sometimes that stuff can be very interesting and something we can all learn from, because a whole lot of those crazy rumors are still out there, no matter where you live in the world.
Okay, I think I'm back.
All right, on time. Okay.
I think I'm back. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, it's technology. We're gonna deal with it the way it comes. Oh, great. At least I've tried now back. Oh, goodness. Our time is almost spent and we have not done much. Thank you so much, Chaka and Amy, for taking over.
Shoot, let me see if I can turn her camera off. Maybe that'll help. I can't. Dang it. All right. Oh, let's give her another minute. See what happens.
You guys can turn off the camera. It uses less internet bundle, so maybe that can help. Just be on audio further down.
You should be her tech support. You're doing a better job than I am. All right, let's see if she can get back on and wrap this up. Oh, she's back. Maybe. Let's see. Let's get her in. Oh, this is so frustrating. Well, we're almost at the end. She just sent me a WhatsApp and asked me to finish up for you. And let me just WhatsApp her and ask her to, thank you, use audio only and see if that helps. So just a minute, I gotta grab my phone. Anyway, so I am a sexuality educator as well, and I do the same work that Sarah does, and I'm in the US, and she and I connected over the internet. She did a Google search and found me, and I have been so honored to help her help you all. So I think I was listening to her, and just a couple other things, just as we, as you wrap up, Sarah will be doing this again. And so she's going to be an excellent resource for you as you go through this process. One of the things I believe is that this is overwhelming, especially when you're at the beginning. So I recommend you pick one little thing that you can do that you feel comfortable with, that you feel confident about. I mean, that might be talking to a good friend or to whoever you're parenting with about, how, what you just did, how did you learn, and what do you want for your kids? What do you want them to know? I love that she started with this conversation about how do you learn? How did you learn? Because that gives us a lot of information about what we don't want for our kids. And so here comes Sarah again. Fingers crossed. So, you know, I think that for me as a parent, that helped me a ton to figure out how to have the conversations, because as Sarah really pushed on, which is the most important thing, is that knowing your values and your beliefs about different things about sexuality will really help you have conversations with your kids that they'll remember and that they'll be more likely to rely on. And it's okay to tell your kids, like, I do not know what I'm doing. And so I'm learning, we'll be learning together, and talk about how important it is that they have this information. So let's see if Sarah is really back. Are you really back?
Yeah, but I think I won't do the video because of my internet.
Yeah, don't. Okay, I'm gonna let you wrap it up. I said a few things. It's on you, my friend. Go for it.
So yeah, as we are saying, do a side by side. Don't do lectures, okay? Don't do lectures. And if possible, try make it short and sweet. Try make it short and sweet. Gather yourself, gather the information you need to give, be collected, and you know, just if possible, rehearse even what you want to tell them. If you find it's a very hard topic to talk about, rehearse. Sometimes there are some topics that can be very, you know, very tough to talk about, but rehearse, be collected, and I mean, just do a side-by-side talk. Side-by-side, I mean, don't hold a lecture. Let them not sit across the table and then you start talking. You can do an activity together. You can take a walk. You can go out and maybe eat out and just begin the talk, as you know, over some other things that you're doing. And another thing is be calm. You see, I try to tell parents that it is important for you to be calm, especially if you realize maybe that your child is doing something and in one way or another, you've never talked about it, or you've talked about it, but they're doing it against your will, which normally happens and it's bound to happen. So try being calm, because when you become so irritated and shout at them, and maybe you know, you become very agitated towards them, they tend to think that you can't handle these things. So once you become very agitated and you become arrogant towards them, they will never talk back to you again. They will never come back to you with any issue, because they feel you can't handle these things. You can't handle these things. So it is important that you remain calm and be collected. And lastly, assure them of the security. Assure them of their security. All the information that they're sharing with you, assure them that they are secured. They are secured, and you are going to protect them no matter what. It is important to assure your child that whatever what comes, you are going to protect them. And if at all they give you any information that they feel is very private, tell them that this information is well and safe with me. So as it is, let me leave it at that. Let me give you some time to ask questions, so that before our time goes, it is so much spent on internet issues, but let us ask questions. Anybody with a question, you can just unmute yourself and ask. Please go on. Ryan, you have unmuted yourself. You can go ahead. Ryan, we are waiting for you guys to ask the question. All right, anyone else who is ready? Is anybody ready with a question? Welcome so much, Bernard and Maina.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Pastor Zebedi, welcome.
Thank you.
Any question?
My question
yes,
is,
Chaka, go ahead.
You see, now the way we were raised up, and I guess it's everybody even from sharing today, I guess most of us were raised up in conservative homes, and therefore these are not the kind of talks we had with our parents. So my question would be like, how do you break the ice and begin talking? Because even you realize that that sometimes even among couples, this can be a hard topic, matters of sexuality and all that, depending, from the way we were raised up. It's matters of sex is not really things that you talk about. You kind of just let the nature take its course, and you finish it, and it's over. I mean, like, so how do you break that ice and begin really to have a conversation around sexuality?
I think that is what we have been saying here, is that you need to get a topic that you want to talk about, and maybe from that topic rehearse the facts about that topic if it is so hard for you to talk. Because I have heard from most of us here that no one wants their child to learn it just from the blues. All of us wants to have their hands on in their child's growth. So at this point, it is important for you to break the ice. As in, this one you have to just do it head on, There is no formula of breaking that ice. You just have to purpose and decide, like, I want to do it. I want to do it, and I want to do it. First of all, what is it that you want to talk about? If it is about sex, tell your child, I want to, I mean, as I've given you the points that you need to start.
Okay, I think that we are, Sarah, are you still there? I think she's not there. I'm gonna make an executive decision. So Eva, do you have a question? You can unmute yourself and ask me. I will probably have an answer. I know you want to review what she already talked about. This is being recorded, and so just in the interest of time, you'll be able to go back and watch it. There'll be a YouTube link, which I'll upload hopefully today, probably tomorrow. I'm gonna Milawamilu. Sorry. If you have a question, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask.
I have a question.
All right, Bernard, you're on. And
Yes. In African setting, first of all, we wait for something bad to happen for you to come up and correct that. And to some extent, if you come up with just a topic and then you start, and then, we have these young people who just look at you and are wondering, why you bring such a topic? Are you suspecting? Are you trying to think that maybe something's not right? And why are you doing that? We are in a generation where people are very much inquisitive. They really want to know why you are coming up with the questions, and you haven't found up anything bad. There's no rumors of anything, and now all of a sudden you have just this topic, and you are very passionate with it.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, why is Dad coming up with such a thing?
Yeah. It's a great question. I'm going to mute you just because you know how it is here today. Yeah, that's a great question. And kids, they don't expect this maybe from you because it's just not part of your culture, or maybe not part of your family culture. So it's really okay to say, you know what? you know, I didn't have this information. I really needed it. I want you to be smart about this part of life and make good decisions and feel good about this part of life. So we're going to talk about it. You might feel uncomfortable. That's okay. It's normal to feel uncomfortable. I might feel uncomfortable, but I really, really, it's so important. And then you can talk about that exact thing. Like, we wait until something bad happens and then we talk about it. This way, fewer bad things are going to happen. And you'll also know that you can talk to me if something bad happens. So it's okay to be really honest with your kids about, like, I don't know what I'm doing, and explaining why you're doing this. So I hope that's helpful. And yeah, thank you for asking that. Like, you know, it's one of those things that's complicated, but it's also kind of easy. It's both. And so thanks for asking that. All right, here you go, my friend. I'm going to ask you to unmute and go for it. I so don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry.
Hello. Let me come up again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, we in our churches we normally have these youth rallies, and some of these stuff are being addressed right from there. And this because they just do deliberately so that they can help many young people in the church. So would this be the best way to handle this kind of topics? Because we have teens, we have youth, and we have Sunday school, the young kids there. Then so we normally have them in groups. So with these kind of topics, because not many people are knowledgeable about it, and then we need just some people who have gone. So right now we are discussing here because we're dealing with experts, but not many people are aware of this. So will it be the best way to be addressed from the church for those parents who are caring to tackle this kind of topic?
Sarah, do you want to answer, or are you able?
Yeah, let me try.
And then let's make this the last question, because I think it's a great one to end on. So take it away and let's be done, because it's anxiety.
Okay, great. Thank you. Bernard, thank you very much for asking the question. Yeah, most of us have grown in church, and actually we all know what is happening in our churches. And some churches advocate, I mean, they're trying their best to help their teens and their young people to grow and to be exposed in their matters regarding their sexuality. But also there are churches that are also not doing the same. And even if maybe they're not doing, maybe because of lack of resources and so on. And so when we bring it on this forum, I believe that when you as a parent also get into the ground with your child and just talk to them regarding these things, because remember we talked about values, and we say that values, they are catch from home. Okay, so no matter how much the church does it, and if at home the child is learning different values, then whatever the church is doing will be nothing. Okay, so it is important, even as you as a parent, to also know that what is my role in my child's life. Most of us as parents, we have left the role of sexuality to our own children, to the internet to do it, or maybe to the church or the school to do it. But mostly it is important for you as a parent, being the first teacher to your child. It is even better that you as a parent do it from home. If the church puts on something else, or if it is the mosque or wherever they go to get their spiritual nourishment, add something else, but they already have a basis from home. But even saying that, we also have in our training as My Journey, we also have a mentorship program that we do for teenagers. And still, I usually insist that even as we come to do it, maybe for your teenagers in the church, they need to get the basics also from their parents. And even you as a church, it is important that you nurture whatever it is being planted in them. I hope I have answered you. Have I?
Thank you very much, Sarah.
You're welcome. So where have we reached? Can we call it a day? And hope that we'll have a better thing next time. I don't know, let's call it a day today. And I want to say thank you very much for all of us who have joined in. I hope that next time it will be better. Things will be better, especially the internet part will be better, and we will do a better things. Thank you so much for joining me. May God bless you and have a wonderful night.